bit sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hi.
Hello.
Jello, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And for all y'all that don't know, this is our power hour. This is our, what is it? This is our true crime power hour where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or no reasons at all.
Yes, that is true. A power hour.
It is. Roughly. Right. Give or take. Yeah. Give or take.
Today's going to be the whole hour, and there is a reason for the season, unfortunately.
Because Heather came in clutch as fuck. We schedule our things because we're organized adults. And I was supposed to do my shit. This was supposed to be a me episode. Didn't realize we were doing a few back-to-backs of moi. And then Heather was like, I can do it. And I was like, girl, if you... Don't fuck with me.
She's like, are you sure? And then I said, jizz. And then at 11:30 last night, I was like, why did I say jizz? But I did it, and I brought it. It has been brought. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. I'm also feeling sassy. So I feel like I'm going to be a good co-host today.
You do.
Speaking of things. So today has been just a clusterfuck of crazy, mostly because it's just, you know, those days where the timing of everything requires you to not get longer than 47 minutes in one location, and you're just kind of like bebopping around town. Yeah. I'm happy that I have a great fuel efficient vehicle. Well, today I come home. I only had 25 minutes, I think, in between. I was like, hurry up, try to design this Canva thing. Mm-hmm. I run up the stairs. Betty, my black lab, was being herself, and she kind of acted like she needed to go outside. And I was like, bitch, you were just outside. I know you just want to play. I don't have time to play. I go upstairs, do my shit. I literally have 90 seconds to get downstairs, grab my sneakers for my gym bag that I'm not even using because I'm going to go home after this. And I'm like, what is that on the bottom of the stairs?
Oh, no.
My lady.
What was
my
it?
dog decided to shadoob all over the fucking carpet. And it's like massive. And then I run downstairs and I'm like, son of a fucking bitch. And then I jump into the shit.
No.
In the shoes I'm wearing right now. And then had to run back upstairs because I left something upstairs. I know that I tracked shit up some stairs. But it was like just a little, it was just like a little drop. I can't wait to Snapchat you. Oh, and yes, everyone who's sitting there being like, well, Brooklyn, you only had 90 seconds to get out of your house. What does that mean for the big steaming pile of shit on your stairs? It means, everyone, that the shit is still on my stairs. And I'm going to come back hoping that thing dried to some way that I can fucking scrape it off of the bottom of the stairs to then fucking shampoo it.
Man.
It is so, this dog shits in an explosive way, and it really just fucks with my day, and it fucked with it hard today.
I think I probably just would have canceled the rest of my day. I think that would have thrown me so enough, or just put a for sale sign in my yard.
Oh my God.
And said, we don't live here anymore.
And then I literally called you the second I got in my car to just bitch about the shit. Mm-hmm. Shit bitching, if you will. And as I was doing that, I was just like, knowing that it's going to sit there for as long as it's going to sit there just really gets me going. Because I'm going to walk in and I'm going to get smacked right in the face.
Oh, it's
with the dues.
It's
the dues. The
dues.
The dues.
It's not a library book.
I know. I wish it was. I wish a stack of library books was on my stand.
But you stepped in a stack of library books.
But I need to return those.
Your house is like going to be like the house of Pink Eye now. You track the poop all the way up the stairs.
And it's in the middle of the stairs. It was really close to, because I am a meemaw. My meemaw would put shit on the stairs to walk up the stairs and be like, carry it up. Yeah. Apparently no one in the fucking Johnson joint knows that. And no one helps me. So I'm always the one carrying the shit up the stairs. Pun intended there. But I had like my purse and other shit on the stairs.
You got to quit saying shit on the stairs. Because like,
there's so much shit on.
Wait, how do you, okay, I'm trying to understand the logistics of the dump.
Yes.
Because like, how?
She
not that I care, but she shat.
She shat. It's a shat. It's not a shit. It's a shat.
Past tense.
So she shat on the third stair, and then I guess there was a dribs. The dribble then carried through onto the ground which like the floating floor, because we all know that that's not real hardwood. And that's where only did I come back down the stairs did I see my footprint in that shit to know that I had stepped in that fucking shit.
It's like a crime scene.
The
duty crime scene.
Oh my God. And I'm just praying that neither dog was like, oh, let me just sprint up and down the stairs with shit on.
Just get the zoomers. So if you're eating lunch, you're welcome.
My apologies. I even walked in the house and I was upstairs and I was like, it does not smell that great. And I had just taken all the trash out. I was like, that's weird.
It must be my feet. That stepped.
It was shit on my foot. Anyway.
You're a treat.
You
know what else is a treat?
Oh my
you guys. We've been saving this one for you. We record early. However, on the 1st, which would be yesterday when you're listening to this, we met some of the cast of the Hocus Pocus, the OG Hocus Pocus.
The only real.
I mean,
at the end of the day, that's the Hocus Pocus. And the second one is just like, oh, thank you for putting extra Parmesan cheese on my fries. Like, it's just a little add-on.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese.
I don't know. We got to meet Max, which is Omri Katz.
Yes.
And then Allison, which is Vanessa Shaw. And then Danny, who is... Thora
Birch.
The one who I'm like kind of the most obsessed with.
Yeah.
Thora Birch. And they were so amazing.
Yes.
And Danny got hot, which he was always hot. He also is a really big pothead, and I support
Max?
the arts. Max is a big old pothead.
You said Danny got hot.
And
I was like, what?
Danny's like definitely like Thora Birch 100% is a child star in the sense that she is just like who the fuck she is.
Yeah.
She's like, I will not be like, her vibe fucking just gets me going. She is gas in my tank.
I gotta tell you this. So you've met my grandma, right? You know her hair, she has the wavy hair.
Yeah.
I showed Will that photo and he goes, she looks like your grandma. And I can't unsee it now.
That's wild.
Yeah. But Brooklyn and I both were in love with Omri, aka Max, since we were younger. And we saw him live and in the flesh. And that only deepened our love.
Yes.
Like whenever I saw Will my husband, after we met them, he said, oh, I'm surprised you still have your wedding ring on. I said, I moved it to the other hand.
Oh, my God.
No,
right?
I didn't, but.
Oh my gosh. There are many versions of Brooklyn Maple in this universe that would have literally just dry humped him like I was a dog in heat.
Would have been awkward for me, but
no, we're not. You just would have turned a blind eye.
Oh my God.
This is, yeah, right. You would have been like, we got so drunk and high with Max from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I'd be like, you don't want this to go
amazing.
to TMZ?
Oh my,
no,
they were so fun too because they made so many jokes about like every 2 seconds they'd be like, from a stone, you know, like
they said
quotes.
dead man's toe and I died. That is your.
That's my favorite.
It
I
is.
keep you around just for the fall time, so I can hear you be like.
So she puts up with me 9 months of the year, so she can hang out with me for 3.
I know Allison from the show or the movie. Her son watched it and he was 6, and she had said that he literally was like, "Sarah's really pretty."
Yeah,
like that's what he took from the whole movie that his mom was in when she was 16. I'm like that sounds about like life.
Oh yeah, you know what doesn't sound like life?
What?
My story today.
I just listened to the episode you just did, episode 113, and I was
Stinky
like,
Pinky.
Yeah, and you really delivered, so I'm excited for more deliverance.
Well, I set the bar a little bit higher. I'm gonna come. I'll probably get a B on this one. I think.
Okay.
I think you know.
Sure.
Okay. So considering that I did this about 18 hours ago,
right?
There's a book on my nightstand called Crimes of Passion from 1973. And I pulled
there's a book on your nightstand
called Crimes of Passion. Yes. And there's also a serial killer encyclopedia. Heather Shelton got them for me for my birthday last year.
Just the whole you saying that you had a book on your nightstand threw me. Okay, carry on. I was like,
That's
is
valid.
a book a dildo? Do we have different words for a book?
Goes in the drawer. Okay. So
I don't keep that out. Duh.
You said, is a book a dildo? No, not my house.
Okay. Well, that's why I have a library. No.
So that book is on my nightstand from 1973. So we are doing a Throwback Thursday. I also got information from Wikipedia, history.com. And then today I listened to 2 episodes of a podcast called Crimes of Passion from January of 2020 by Lainey Hobbs.
So is this a crime of passion?
What I'm saying is, it is a passionate crime.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. And we're going to go back to like the 1920s, like prohibition.
When everything was just stanky and weird.
Like your house right now.
Oh, I'm so for 2 seconds I forgot I had to just scrape shit.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So Ruth Mimi Brown was born in 1895. I'm used to saying 19. So 1895 in Manhattan, New York, to Henry and Josephine Brown, and they'd immigrated from Norway and Sweden. Josephine was a nurse, and her dad was a carpenter. And apparently Ruth was like had a rough go about it health-wise. She had surgery on her intestines when she was 6, and like that was like 1901. So I'm sure it was very.
Oh gosh.
They just used rusty scissors or something. Like
They just cut her open and was like, oh, that's weird.
they were like, "We're gonna go to lunch. Can you hold that?" Like, what? Do you, yeah. And when she was 12, the doctors botched an appendectomy, so she went under the knife or scissors or whatever again at 18 to fix that. This obviously caused her like a shit ton of health issues, obviously.
Yeah, these health issues caused health issues.
Yes. Like, I mean, all of her surgeries. So she went to school through 8th grade and she dropped out around the age of 15. Now, some reports said that she left school to go to work and help her family out. But since you already know that I'm talking about her because she did something bad, I'm going
I never know if it's her or if, like, is she the murderer or the victim?
Yeah, well.
But you just told us. So
yes.
now we know.
Yes. So I'm going to go with the juicy story because I like that one better. So a newspaper called The American published that she got into a fight with a female classmate at age 15 because she was fucking her teacher. And she was jealous of a girl in her class that was in his class.
I just made noise, sorry.
They got in a fist fight. And
wait, hold on. I need to wait. So who was fucking the teacher? The girl?
Ruth.
Oh.
And she was jealous because she thought another girl was flirting with him in her class. So they got in a fight.
When she was 15?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so they got in a fight and she either got expelled or left because she was embarrassed because everything came out of why they got in a fight. She got a job as a telephone operator at the New York Telephone Company. In 1914, she got a call from a dude named Edward Snyder. And when she transferred it, she did it wrong. I mean, she's 15. And he went like apeshit banana pants on her when she got reconnected because she messed up. She made one mistake. And then he hung up. When they felt guilty, he called her back to say sorry. And then they started talking. And he's like, hey, you should come see me in person.
So weird.
Right?
That's weird.
I know.
But it feels very 1920s hookup.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like 1914 way of sliding into a DM, I guess. Like,
I guess.
But he was like, I can get you another job.
Isn't it crazy when you hear voices and you're like, oh, they sound like they'd be hot. And then you're like, wow.
Yes.
You look like a fucking clown.
Yes.
Your voice does not match your face.
I can't imagine being like, he sounds hot. Hey, we should meet. And then he was already mad at her because she fucked up. And then he was like, I can get you another job though, because he thought she sounded hot. Basically.
Guys suck.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So Ruth was like, okay. But she like fell for it. Albert was 32, so 13 years older than her at the time.
Cash.
Yeah. And he made bank as an art editor for Motorboating magazine. Pretty sure you were on the cover. 2 years ago, was it?
When you said it, I only literally was thinking of motorboating boobs. I never once thought of motorboats.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's yes. The answer is yes. Because that's the only reason why I included that, because who cares? Right. I was like,
that was not the pinpoint to the entire story.
Like,
you're like, the whole foundation sits on
Weren't
this.
you on the cover a few years ago as I typed it? So
I wish. I wish I was.
I wish you were too. 30%.
So you could just pin it on your wall.
Yes. With all the others. Okay. She meets up with Albert and he's like, yeah, let me get you a job as a receptionist at Motorboat magazine. So she signed up for said Motorboat. She started like working there and immediately they started flirting hardcore. Albert wasn't married because he had been engaged 2 years before that, and his fiance that he was like head over heels for passed away from pneumonia. And it literally crushed him. They said he was lonely until she started working there. So something sparked in him to reach out to her and bring her over there. And then
considering that he literally yelled at her.
He was like, he yelled and then was like, I'm sorry, come work here.
This is right. Do you want a job?
At Motorboating magazine.
Right.
Yeah. So Ruth was tall, blonde, pretty, and she was definitely picking up what he was throwing down. So
I knew she was blonde. You were like, what was she, German and Swedish?
This was her later in life. That's one of her photos. Now, they didn't publish.
Wow. Give me your
Don't
phone.
scroll,
I
though,
need
because
to-
there's other ones.
Scroll.
No, I meant like for today. There's other ones.
I know, man.
So,
okay.
I like
She's
her-
given me, if you cut that hair, I think that was a guy.
oh, yeah.
100%. Very masculine.
This was later,
feature.
so maybe she looked a little different back then. But anyway.
I believe that.
Yes. They began dating almost instantly, and he showed her the fancy lifestyle that she wasn't used to. So, like dinners, theater, all that stuff. And a few months later at Christmas, he was like, will you marry me? Ruth was like, no, but let's keep dating. so, AKA, keep taking me out to wine and dine me because I'm not going to marry you yet.
Were they doing it?
Shh. No, yeah.
Were they doing the sex?
Doing the sex.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
I'm going to go with Jis.
Okay.
I mean, that's a guess. But
Maybe she was like, "Your dick too small. I'm not marrying you, but you can feed me more lasagna."
yeah, lasagna. I said fancy dinners, and you're like,
Lasagna is delicious.
take me to Fazoli's.
You
Do
prance.
this.
This is 1900s New York Italians.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I was like, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of fucking mob shit going on. A lot of fur coats on the streets.
Oh my God. A few months later on her birthday, he put like a diamond ring in a chocolate box, and he tried that again.
Because she was like 4 years old. It was like, here's your chocolate.
Right. This time she actually said yes. And 4 months later, they made it official. And his family, especially his sister, was like, oh, dear, she's beneath you. Like, no, she's above her station. Like, what are you doing? But we'll, quote, tolerate her because they loved her brother. They loved their brother. But they were like, dude, no, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, how could she have become anything? Like, unless she came from money, what stature does a 16, 17-year-old have? You don't even know how to fucking do your own laundry yet.
Yeah.
What are groceries to you? Do you know how to go to the grocery store?
Right. She's
I mean,
a
I don't
little
know
bit-
anything about 1900s. I'm sure they're like, I've raised an entire fleet of sheep or some shit. Not New York, but it's fine. You can carry on. Just keep going.
Now, they moved to Brooklyn, and after marriage...
Hey.
Sorry. After marriage, the honeymoon was basically over. So Albert was like, cool, we're married. So I'm just going to stay here all the time, and I'm not taking you to dinners, and we're done with that. I don't have to impress you anymore, pretty much. And she's like, but wait, I liked that stuff. Why can't we-
Hey,
why
life
can't we-
advice, everyone. Public service announcement. Keep dating your loved ones. Don't stop dating.
Right? And if he went out, he was like, oh, yeah, I'll take you out. And he would go on the boat. But the boat was named Jessie G, which was his fiance that passed away. So
Okay.
she was, I mean, like, I get
I'd
that.
be okay with that.
But yeah, you might not later.
Well, number one, it's one thing if you're like holding a shrine to her and a candle and it's so apparent that you don't love me a quarter of the way that you had loved her, which no one can tell that Heather is aggressively shaking her red wrist. So that would make me uncomfortable. But if like Travis, well, I was like, if Travis's ex-wife had passed away and they were madly in love and he had named a boat, I'd be like, that's cool. And then just fucking corkscrew a hole in the bottom and let that bitch sink.
Now, she eventually talked him into renaming it after her, but they also had tons of issues. Ruth wanted kids, and Albert was like, no.
Good thing they discussed that before they got married.
And it sounds like they didn't talk about anything before they got married, but anyway. And Ruth went behind his back to get medical help to try to get knocked up anyway. And
What do you mean? She fucked somebody else?
she was having issues getting pregnant, and because she was saying, you know, she was like, oh, we're being careful, quote unquote. I don't know what that is in the 1916, like put a sock on it. Like, I don't even know what
Like,
they
what
did.
kind of pull-out game is that?
I don't know.
Well, that's probably where the lambskin came in. I feel like that's the weird shit. I need to find out when the first condom was made. Pause.
I think it was a long time ago, and they used like the inside
Googled
of
this
a
before.
stomach of a cow or something weird.
That sounds disgusting.
I
Oddly
mean-
pleasurable. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to Googs, just so you know.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So she went to the doctor, and I don't know what they did, but they helped her. And in 1916, it worked. Now Albert was pissed at her because she's like, "Oh, I went to the doctor and they helped me, and now we're having a baby."
I just need you to see that photo.
What the fuck is
Should
that?
we just like make that be the 5th photo on our Instagram post?
I don't. Just show me what am I looking
A
at?
linen sheath fastened with a ribbon.
A ribbon.
And a ribbon. A ribbon at the
She's
base.
talking about the condom.
At the base, yeah. And
It
this
had
was
a-
specifically to protect against syphilis.
Oh,
Because that's when syphilis was banana.
so they just tie it up with a bow.
Yeah.
Literally. Could you imagine?
Well, they say the first known evidence of a condom used was in 200 CE, the ancient Egyptians.
Oh. Did they draw that in hieroglyphics on the wall?
Ew. They did it to protect against bilharzia and a parasite worm.
Oh.
And they used animal bladders.
Oh.
Everything's gross.
I know.
Things
we're
are
real
gross.
today.
The first rubber condoms, though, just so you know, this is very important, was 1855. And now I'm going to put my phone up and carry on.
Okay. Now, the more you know. And shooting condom. Okay. And so Albert was pissed beyond belief because he didn't want to be a dad. And she's like, well, guess what? Surprise. And on November 15th, 1917, she gave birth to baby Lorraine. And he was even more pissed that it was a girl.
All of this feels like just you're giving me red flags. All you're doing right now is waving a big red flag. Everything you say, you're just like, red flag.
That's what I usually do.
You're like, bad relationship, shouldn't have been together in the first place, no communication.
Age gap, totally different personalities, everything.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, Al, I thought that said AI. Al was AI. Al was 35 and Ruth was 22. And he got grumpy as fuck. Like, after this, he just completely was just pissed all the time about everything. They moved to Queens Village in 1920, and Ruth's dad passed away shortly thereafter. So her mom, and they called her Granny Brown, which I think is adorable. Granny Brown moved in with them because she was a traveling nurse, but she would stay there when she wasn't traveling to help with the baby since Albert literally didn't give a shit. And he just was like, cool, I'm going to work my ass off.
Why didn't you just leave her?
Well, Albert bitched that Ruth was too wild and not domestic enough and spent too much money. And Ruth was like, well, I'm a party monster flapper girl, so suck my dick, pretty much. She's like, I like to have fun. So.
Which she didn't, well, I don't know. It's not her money.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
to part, like, you're like, I like to do this because I can do that. Bitch, you can only do this because of him.
Right. You're not wrong. This
She
is
kinda
definitely,
sucks.
this is going to make you question different things, like just the way that both of them are as we go.
They both just kind of suck. I'm getting a lot of suckage.
Yeah.
A lot of going on.
Okay. She had tons of friends and they were all like, dude, your husband kind of sucks. Like, because her friends like to go out and do things too. And they brought their spouses and stuff. And he was just they called him he was a stick. They said, your husband is kind of a stick. Like, I don't know what that means. But
in the mud?
No. I don't know where
That's what
it
I'm
is.
saying. Like,
They just said your
kind of
husband's kind of a stick.
That's just.
I don't know. I dated a guy a long time ago and we called him Log because he had a boring personality.
I thought it was because he had a.
No, that was when I was a good Christian soldier.
It's like.
I don't know about that.
Interesting. I'm going to shut up.
And apparently he was also kind of like he got violent sometimes, Al. And a neighborhood kid accidentally hit a baseball through their window and he chased him all the way to his house and beat his ass.
Oh. Okay.
Like, yeah. He would also verbally abuse their toddler, Lorraine, just for being a friggin' toddler.
Being a girl.
He would say shitty things to Ruth, like basically saying, "Oh well, you'll never be as good as Jessie. She was so much prettier than you." Jessie did like his dead fiance. Like he compared her all the time to her. Like verbally would kind of beat her down a little bit. They just did not need to be together at all. Neither one of them were good for each other. He even put Jessie's photo up in their bedroom.
The fuck?
On the wall. Like hung it up on the wall and was basically like, well, she's prettier than you. You don't do this like her. You don't.
I guarantee he's just staring at it while he banged her.
Oh, no. They quit having sex altogether.
I would beat him with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm totally okay with like a small little one on the mantle. I understand. Love was lost.
Up above your bed? No.
Was it above the bed or just on the wall? Okay.
Yeah.
The way you said that, I'm like, dude, I don't know.
You know, I got to church it up a little bit.
I know, but you're over here making me think he like has her on the ceiling. Fucking Pamela Anderson in the early 90s.
It said hung up on the wall.
Okay.
In the bedroom.
I'm still upset by it. It doesn't change the fact.
Yeah. The fuck. You're right. All right. Ruth and Albert Snyder were obviously super unhappy. And they were just going through the motions, living in the same house, living two separate lives. They basically hated each other at this point, and then Ruth got super depressed. After 10 years of marriage, she wanted out, but she knew that if she wanted any alimony and custody of her daughter, that she had to prove, quote, depraved cruelty, or basically that he was a cheater.
That's unbelievable. They made it so, it rocks my fucking Under Armour socks. It really does. They were like, you used to, like, even in the 1600s, even if a man beat you within an inch of your life and you were married to him and you had to ask permission to get divorced and they would deny it almost always.
Yeah.
So it's like,
dumb.
so dumb.
Yeah.
If everyone, when you're getting shitty for stupid shit in 2024, be like, at least I can wear deodorant and I can poop in a thing that takes the poop away, unless you're my dog and you can just do it on the stairs and then I'll do it. But like, life is still better.
Yeah. There's no bows on condoms anymore.
Right? We're bow free.
Bow free.
We're ribbon free.
Right. In June of 1925, Ruth went to lunch with her friend Harry Folsom and some other friends, and they were like doing a day drinking lunch. And Harry's friend, 33-year-old salesman Henry Judd Gray comes to join them.
Insert fresh dick to the chat.
And as everyone starts leaving, Ruth and Judd were the last two standing. Called it. And Judd's like, hey, I have to go back to work right now, but I better see you again.
I just got super wasted, but I really have an important 2:00.
Oh, yeah. and she's like, yeah, my life sucks. Yeah, sure. I would love to see you again. I'm going to show you a picture of Judd. That's him. What?
If I can just say, he looks
she
like,
made a face.
Like just like a damp washcloth.
Yeah.
Like if he was a human, he just looks depressing.
Yeah.
Like if he was a cartoon character, he is Igor.
Eeyore?
Not Igor.
He's Igor?
Yes.
You know, Winnie the Pooh and Igor?
But yeah, he'd be Eeyore.
Yeah.
He's just like, meh.
Yeah.
Damn, I've done that twice.
You and the names, man.
Life's hard.
Okay. And Judd was from New Jersey, and he traveled for work, and he was rarely home. He had also been married for 10 years, and he had a 9-year-old daughter. By the way, he was not only described as quote unquote handsome, although we disagree.
I didn't say he wasn't.
I mean,
he just looks really boring and
yes. He sold, you know what he sold?
Toilet cleaner.
Upscale lingerie. Yes.
Okay.
I know. So, like, of course, he could go hammer some bourbon and then go sell corsets, I guess. Like, I don't know how.
Yeah, I have questions.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I guess he was
1920s.
like, look at these brassieres. They are the newest brassieres out there.
Brassieres.
Isn't that when they were there?
Yeah.
They still the Coney boobs.
Oh, the Madonnas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he would stay out late, like whining and dining his clients. So he was basically a party monster, and he didn't really love his marriage setup either. His wife was kind of for 10 years.
This is that shit. This is that shit, man.
A few months later, Ruth went to a party solo, and Judd was there. They leave the party together, and Judd's like, the way that they told this when I was listening to it this morning was so long and drawn out. It's funny, but they leave the party together, and he's walking her to her house or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I have this corset in my office, and I really want you to have it.
I really want to fuck you on my desk."
AKA they boned. But like the way they told it on there, it's like she was sunburned from her family vacation, and then he put lotion on her shoulders, and that was a sense of comfort.
Soft porn.
I know. I was like, what am I listening to? Like 50 Shades of Judd. That's what I listened to.
That is definitely softcore porn.
Yeah, and it was like when she slipped out of her. It was bizarre.
I'm kind of grossed out by it. I'm like, what kind? This was a podcast?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They were very criming passionately.
Yeah.
Yes. They
one of them isn't getting enough sex. This was their outlet. They're like, and then he slathered the sunscreen on her left shoulder.
100%. That's what it was. I was at a stoplight and I felt weird.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Yeah. Now they kept boning, and Judd would book a room as often as he could at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel to go to like Cheater Pound Town together. And they started going to parties together too, publicly, and they were just hammered all the time, pretty much. Like they were just partying openly. And when he had to leave New York for work, they would call each other and they wrote each other secret letters, and the mailman even was in on it. So like she would give the mailman Judd's letters and be like, "Don't let my husband see." And he's like, "Cool, I'll do that."
Right, because the mailman's gonna come back. Oh, I guess the delivery.
Yeah, he didn't want. And then when she got the letters in, he didn't want her to see. Ruth basically told everybody, but Albert though. Judd even met her mom.
Then Albert knew.
Judd met her mom, and her daughter called him Uncle Judd. Her daughter was like 7 or 8 at the time. Yeah, Ruth would sometimes bring Lorraine to the hotel when they boned, and she would put her out in the hallway and have her play on the elevators at a hotel. Her daughter's like 8, just so you know.
Wow.
Yeah. She was like, I'd entertain myself by riding the elevator. I'm like, while your mom fucks? What the?
Like she would even know.
I mean, yeah.
She's like, they're doing a grown-up game. They're inside. Oh.
Yeah. But they seemingly were in love, and she's still fighting nonstop with Albert, especially about money, her partying, raising their kid. And Ruth wanted out, and she was desperate just to be on her own. She even tried to ship her daughter off to boarding school, and then Albert was like, I'm not paying for that. We're not doing it, because she wanted the kid to kind of go away and then him to go away too.
Oh.
November of 1925, a life insurance salesman showed up at the house, and she was by herself, and she's like, hey, cool, loving what you're selling. Can you come back later and get my husband to sign a Blake form? And he's like, oh, yeah, I can do that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 1925.
Just anywho,
He signed it. He came back, got him to sign a blank form, and was like, we'll discuss the terms. So the next day, Albert, quote, came to the decision, a.k.a. Ruth called the guy and said, this is what I want to do, and got a $50,000 life insurance policy with a clause saying that she would get double of that if he died by accident. And she was, of course, the beneficiary.
That's weird.
Guess how much money that is today?
Hold on. Can we unpack the fact that
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so
sign this check and you fill it out.
I get $50,000 if you die of heart disease. I get $100,000 if somebody runs a red light.
Yep.
They're like, maybe the double money makes the pain hurt less. I don't know.
I didn't get
understand
that either.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Weird contingency, and also feels illegal. Okay, tell me how much 50,000 is now, or 100.
Almost 1.8 million.
So the 100,000.
Yes.
Okay.
If he accidentally dies, she would get that.
Dude,
yeah.
You telling me that $100,000 from 1925 in 2025 is $1 million difference? This is what concerns me about our grocery bills. I'm like, how the fuck is that?
Right.
That is an obscene level of inflation, but
Right.
sure. Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic employing your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
Where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
She paid herself. So Al gave her an allowance every week, and she had to use half of that behind his back, 'cause she was supposed to handle the finances with that, like the household. She took half that money behind his back and was paying this life insurance policy. And Ruth became scheming to become a widow at this point. In July of 1926, Albert was taking a nap, and Ruth had gone to, quote unquote, run errands, but he woke up gagging because the gas fumes were like all up in that house. And then she came home. She just happened to come home at the same time. And he was like in his yard gagging and like almost passed out. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. I must have kicked the heater tube from the gas heater in the wall when I was walking out on accident. But he told his sister that, and they came by and they were like, I don't think you can just kick it out. And then,
I know. I was like, that feels not right.
And you had to physically...
A dog just walks by and looks at it. His tail hits it, and they're like, we all die of carbon monoxide.
100%. And they're like, no, you had to physically rip it out of the wall.
Huh.
So then she tried the old female thing of poison.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't.
Like she keeps...
You looked at me and I was like, she got pregnant again. I was like,
She faked a pregnancy.
she faked a pregnancy.
And she would give him drinks with chloride mercury in it and say, because he had chronic hiccups. And then get this. He would puke his face off. So she literally was like, I'm going to give you this medicine and it's going to help your hiccups. But then he throws up and he didn't question it because he loses hiccups. And I'm like, I would rather have hiccups than throw up aggressively.
I mean, it depends. Did I gain 10 pounds over the holidays or did I not? I don't know. I don't know what the situation is.
I recant my first time. And in 1927, she tried that gas thing again and was like, oh, that pesky tube. Like, she tried that. She did it twice. He even joked with his family after that, like, yeah, my wife was almost a widow. Really? Like, still no clue. Nothing.
So he still doesn't know that she's like getting schwasty pants with
Nope.
Judd over there?
No.
I don't believe that because little kids are stupid. And I just feel like their daughter would have been like, Uncle Judd.
Yeah, and then
They were playing in the hotel room. Or I don't know. Do you want me to play that game that I play whenever you and Uncle Judd play? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's how, I don't know, the cookies crumble. I'm confused.
In February, Ruth met up for their little pound town in their hotel room, and she's drunk and she's crying and she's like, "My marriage is worse than ever. He threatened to kill me." Because she confides in him all the time, and she's telling him like, "Oh, he threatened me," and she's like, "Listen, I want to get rid of him, and eventually he's gonna find out I'm spending all his money on this life insurance, and he's gonna flip out, and I'm scared he's gonna kill." Like she kind of leaned that way, and then so they drunkenly came up with a plan. On March 4th, 1927. Judd bought a window sash.
Slow burn. This is a slow burn on timelines.
Yeah.
Heather looked at my watch. I didn't mean now here.
No.
I'm like
1920. Oh, I wanted to see what page I was on.
I was like, no, I mean
tell
like
the time.
I don't know what the fuck is happening. No, but I'm like, how many years were they like boning?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. There's just a lot of shit.
Well,
that
they
happened
met in 25, right?
Yeah,
and then 27.
So it's a couple years.
I mean, an affair.
I mean, yeah.
For longer than 14 days in my mind is fucking forever.
Yeah. I agree. Now on March 4th, Judd bought a window sash weight, rags and chloroform, and a 5-pound steel bar that resembled like a...
What was the very first? Window
sash weight. I don't know what that is.
Okay. I feel like it's a window.
It's a weight that goes on a window sash. Like I have no idea.
I feel like maybe they had really heavy.
Maybe to pull the window.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was
the
thinking.
Curtains open.
But why would it need to be a weight? Like, how heavy are your curtains? How big are your windows? What is your electricity bill like? I'm just kidding. They didn't have that. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe they did. I am not bright. I have no idea. Okay, so window sash weight.
Chloroform, rags, and a 5-pound steel bar that looked like a rolling pin.
Well, sorry, I kicked some. I'm sorry. I hit my knee. It distracted me.
Yes.
Window sash weight.
I quit. If I say it
one more time. Give it to me one more time. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Window sash weight.
Got it.
Rags with chloroform.
Got it.
And a 5-pound steel bar that looked like it was as big as a rolling pin.
Okay.
So he buys this all at the same place. No one blinks, by the way.
Perfect.
Then he went to kill him that night. And then he chickened out. They cried together and he left. She was like, you should just go. Like he went there and he's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I can't do it. So
that dude did not look like he could kill fucking anything. He looks like that dude where there's a big a spider in the bathtub and he's like, oh my God. Like he does not look like a dude that's like, I'm going to stomp on this. I'm not going to stomp on anything that's big because I don't need to know about that crunch, but I would have turned on the faucet.
Unless it's a pile of shit, then you just traipse it up the stairs. I'm not letting it go. It's so funny.
You suck.
Okay.
You know it's on my shoe.
And I know when I just looked down at your shoe and I was like, don't kick me.
I stared at the bottom.
I don't smell it.
Everything's fine. I must have wiped it off on my carpet in my home.
Okay. A few weeks later, Ruth writes Judd a secret letter and they say she's like, look, I'm going to a party with Lorraine and Albert on March 19th on Saturday, and the house will be empty, so I need you to sneak in and wait. Judd's like, cool. So on the 18th, he takes a train, got a hotel room in upstate New York, and he stays the night there. The next day, because he's working on his alibi.
Okay.
The next day, he works over the phone. Apparently, working virtually was okay in lingerie. He's like, I promise this bra looks pretty. Like, how do you do that over the phone?
I would presume it's like, okay, so you want SKU number this, 15 of those, inventory, assumptions.
I'm like, what, do you do this?
I was like, you didn't know that I work for Adore Me and I do online lingerie stuff?
That's right.
And yet I'm wearing a shitty bra right now.
And so he works over the phone and then he had lunch with a friend and he's like, hey, buddy, I need a favor from you. I have a girlfriend and I don't want my wife to know or my job to know, but I'm going to go see her. So I need you to go to the hotel, put a do not disturb sign on the door, make it look like I slept there overnight so they don't know that I leave to go see his girlfriend. And he's like, oh, I got you. I won't say anything. I'll do that. Saturday night, Judd hops on that train and goes down to New York and he sneaks into their house. Ruth and Albert went to that party, which they're all bridge parties. Like apparently that's like cards.
When you said that, I was like, man, these bitches be partying.
It's bridge parties. But they also did have prohibition liquor.
They did have prohibition? Like, okay.
Yes. So they did drink and smoke cigars.
And cigarettes, because
oh yeah,
tobacco is not wacky.
That's
back
right.
Then.
And so Ruth and Albert went to the party, and her friends thought it was weird because that night she was like all over Albert, and she never they hated each other, and people knew. And she was sober, so again, weird.
That is weird.
Because party monster. She was
Why
like,
did she get drunk?
She said, "Oh, I'm feeling sick," but she told the host of the party, which lived in their neighborhood, she was like, "Just give him my share of the drinks because I'm feeling ill."
That's weird. My share.
Yeah.
What is this? Everyone comes and gets 3?
The prohibition, they had a ration.
I know, but I thought during the prohibition you weren't allowed to drink at all.
Yeah, they had the illegals, the illegal liquor. So yeah, so they probably did count that motherfucking shit. They probably
you're
worked
right.
hard to get it.
Like, y'all get 3 malt liquors. That's it. Once you're done, you're done.
And she was feeding him drinks, and like I said, and he was like, "This is so weird that she's all over me and stuff." He even looked at her like, "Why are you not drinking?"
I'm surprised they even came together.
Yeah, like just for I think they were just going through the motions.
Have like a drink, like have a drink, look cash.
Yeah,
I'm not over here trying to tell people how to commit murder.
Right?
But like, fuck.
Yeah, and then she stroked his head and called him her baby lamb. I had to put that.
Why do you know that?
Because
why do you know
it
that?
was in
Why
that,
did that go down into the history
It
books?
was in that 50 Shades of Judd.
I believe it.
I remembered it so hard that I went in there and rewrote the line into these notes. Because if Will ever called me his baby lamb,
that is so cute. I'm
What?
gonna call you my baby lamb.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna.
I know, like what the fuck? Call me any fluffy farm animal. Call me baby bunny. I don't care.
Okay.
I think it's sweet that for once they were loving to each other.
And he's like, "Why the fuck are you doing this?
Right?
This is weird." And she's like, "Oh, my baby lamb."
Oh, hush, hush, baby lamb.
That's what I'm.
Just drink your liquor.
It's because I watched Baby Reindeer on Netflix.
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
I know you got all mad because I didn't see it, and you were like, "You need
I
to
forgot
see it."
I wanted to quit.
Things have to be like short episodes. I can't get into.
Not like this.
I saw the preview 1,000 times, and it like creeps me out.
Oh, it's creepy.
It felt weird.
Oh yeah, I send Will some of the text from that sometimes, and he's like, "Will you stop?" And I'm like, "Sent from my iPhone." Okay. So Albert's like, "Why? This is weird. Why are you calling me baby lamb, doing all this shit?" But he just is like, "Whatever. I'm drunk." Like at this point, he's hammered.
Oh, nice.
And their daughter, I still can't get over that they just bring their daughter, but they did. And
Oh.
yeah. So the house was empty, but Ruth had left the door unlocked for Judd. So he goes in there around midnight to wait. And he goes in Granny Brown's room, and she had left a bottle of whiskey in there. And he's like, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm just going to get drunk while I'm waiting," to calm his nerves too. And after after 2, they left and they were coming home. Now, when they got home, Ruth rushed Lorraine to bed at 2 a.m. This 9-year-old.
That's what I was like. This daughter had to have been asleep in a back room.
Yeah. They rushed her to bed at 2 a.m. And then
Ain't nothing being rushed at 2 a.m.
Right. And then so Al, he's fucking hammered, and he basically goes in his room and passes out. When he's getting ready for bed, she sneaks to the bedroom to see, because no cell phone, so she has to go back there and make sure Judd didn't fucking cry and run away again. So she opens the door and she's like, "Oh, he's there." And they said, "Waiting like a lonely, loyal pet," like that, or that loyal dog is what that episode said.
I want to ask you about this podcast, but I also don't want to like kind of shame someone who's doing what we do.
Very colorful. They do it in a different manner than we do. Let's see that.
I understand that.
Yeah, let's just say that.
And then he slowly took off her pants.
Oh yeah, she slipped. I'm not going to do it again, but that's so. When Albert passed out, Ruth goes and gets Judd, and then they go back into the bedroom. Judd takes the window sash weight that we know for a fact he had and purchased. Okay, he takes that and he smashes Albert's skull with that as hard as he could. Now, shockingly, all it did was wake him up. And Albert jumps up and he starts fighting back. And he grabbed Judd's tie, which, first of all, I think it's weird that he was committing murder in a fucking suit, but whatever.
He was like, "I'm going to just sit here in this closet for hours and drink whiskey and
with
wear
my
a
tie."
tie."
Yeah. And
Dude, that would not kill you. Like, I would just get mad. A window sash weight is like, and I want people to know, because Heather was like, "Oh, shockingly enough, this bitch doesn't look like it would kill you."
Let me see it, because I didn't Google what it was.
It's a thin...
window sash weight. What is that? Looks like a bookmark.
Yeah, it looks like a metal
it's
bookmark.
round, though.
Well, and then another one that I see is more of a cylinder, but it still looks hollow. It almost looks like a buoy weight, but smaller. Yeah. And so I'm like, that would not kill me. I would be fucking annoyed.
Especially if you're drunk, too.
It's like you just fucking spit on a hornet. I'm pissed now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's basically what he did. Grabbed
dumbass.
his tie and he quote unquote throttled him, whatever that means. Judd panicked and he drops the weight. And then Ruth was there and she grabbed it and she beat the shit out of him. And he finally dropped Judd. Now, during the scuffle, she grabbed the chloroform at some point and she knocked him out.
Probably should have started with that.
Yeah, he was drunk and passed out.
Yes.
Like, he was literally
Take the heavier Number one, why did you have to buy anything from the store? You lit desk lamp.
Yeah.
A paperweight.
You'll see.
A chair.
They don't make the best.
What do you mean?
Choices.
Everyone's made really good choices up until now. Golly.
Now, this was all Judd's account of things. Ruth had a different story. She said that she had changed her mind at the last minute and that she and Judd got into a fight about it. They're arguing, right? She says she stopped in the middle of it to go pee. In the middle of their fight, she's like, fuck you, hang on, I gotta pee. And then she hears a thud and he killed him while she was in the bathroom. She's like, I didn't even see it, I just heard it because I was peeing.
Judd?
Yeah, she said he killed Albert while she was peeing.
Man, you know how spicy it would have been if Homeboy would have killed Judd?
Right? And then he comes in there and he's like, hey. But
who the fuck was this guy?
Right. Now, they both went and sat on the stairs in shock for a while. And then they were like, oh, we probably need to cover this up. So let's make it look like a robbery. Gone wrong. They tied up Albert's arms and legs with towels. And then Ruth sat Albert's gun by the bed and ransacked the house. Now, Ruth hid some of the jewelry and silver underneath the mattress. So, like, she's like, oh, they robbed the place. Sticks it underneath her husband's body instead of even trying. Their house is huge. Like, what are you doing?
That is so dumb.
Oh, it gets more
you would have
dumb.
gotten rid of the mattress because of the blood. And like minimum. Do you know what I mean? Like the mattress would be removed.
Yeah, like
So, like,
the
you
cops
have-
would take the
Yeah. So at a bare Menzies, that is no longer going to be where you sleep.
I know.
My gosh.
Oh, Judd got nervous that Albert was still alive, so he choked him out with a picture wire around his neck.
Oh, okay.
They burned their buddy clothes. Judd put on one of Albert's shirts. So they literally gave him a shirt out of his closet and were like, here, you should put this on. They put that paper, what is it? Window sash weight? I said it so many times I forgot. They put it in their cellar. They didn't even take it out of the house. Ruth is like...
Well, couldn't they have just washed it and put it...
back on the...
I get what it is. It was probably to prevent... Like, now that we saw what it is, I bet it prevents it from moving as much. Like, you tie it to it and it waits. I don't know
The
shit.
window sash?
Yeah. Why? I've never cared so much about anything in my life but a window sash weight at this point.
And then Ruth is like... she's like, hit me in the head. I need to make, like, she tells Judd, like, hit me in the head. And he's like, no, let me just tie your ankles. Not even your hands, just your ankles with this clothesline loosely. So like, okay.
Oh my God.
The train that he was going to take didn't run until 8 a.m. and he didn't realize that. So he took a taxi to Grand Central Station and then went back up to upstate New York where his alibi room was. And Ruth laid down outside of her daughter's room waiting for her to get up. But again, she went to bed at like 3 a.m. She's 9. So she's like not going to...
I'm going to sleep until 2 p.m.
Yeah. She got tired of waiting and just starts yelling for her. Like outside of her room. So not only is she just laying in front of her daughter's door.
She doesn't go in there and open the door. She's like...
She wants her to find her.
Heather! Heather!
Exactly.
Heather! Like what?
Yeah, that's what she did. And her daughter's like, oh, I'm tired. Wait, that sounds like she's in trouble.
And her hands are untied. And it's just her ankles.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to punch someone. There's nothing I hate more than stupid.
Yeah. Cut to the morning. Well, I mean, after the sun came up, she woke up to her yelling her name outside the door. So she opens it and her mom's laying on the floor with that loose cord around her ankles. Lorraine is like, oh, mommy, let me, untie you with my hands, even though your hands are free. And her mom swats her hand away. It's like, no, go call the neighbors. So
I'm done.
No, you're not.
I'm leaving.
Okay, well, that wouldn't be as fun if you left.
Okay, bye. This is stupid. Now I'm annoyed.
The neighbor got there and Ruth's like, oh my God, I got knocked out for at least 5 hours. And then the neighbor finds Albert dead in the bed and then they call the cops. The police.
She could have stood.
Yep. The police, an ambulance, and a doctor showed up and the doctor's like, bitch, you did not get hit in the head. There's no mark at all on your head at all. There's no way you were knocked out for 5 hours. And how do you know it was 5 hours, for one? Anyway, Ruth told the cops that they went to that party and her husband was wasted and passed out when they got home. And then she was getting ready for bed and she heard a noise downstairs. So she goes down there and a dark-haired man hit her and knocked her out. Now, she's like, and I think he was Italian. And look, oh my God, there's an Italian newspaper that he left here. Apparently, there was a lot of racism against Italian immigrants back in these days. Because in 1911, the Immigration Commission even released a report saying that basically Italians were known for robbery and other shit like that.
They were hotter than us. That's why. Italians are hot.
I mean, and it was super common, I mean, kind of still is, that white women do this. And Ruth tried to gain sympathy. So she was like, yeah, the big bad swarthy, they said that in there, Italian immigrant with a mustache killed my husband, is what she told the cops. The cops were like, cool, but like, nobody hit you, and why didn't you untie yourself? Like when you woke up.
You idiot.
Yeah.
You're so dumb. It hurts.
Oh, it gets more dumb. There were no signs of forced entry. And why would a robber waste time looking in the couch and opening all the cupboards? Like, and then obviously they found the shit under the mattress.
Oh my.
They found they also found in the house evidence of checks to the life insurance, and she's like, "Oh, I think he has $1,000 policy." She played dumb, even though she was the one that signed the checks. And she also had checks that she had written to Judd in her house.
So this wouldn't have even been an accident, though. Nope. You know what I mean? Like this.
Nope.
So even if she thought she's stupid,
if the Italian swarthy man killed him, then it would have been, I think it would have been
accident. I know, but an accident.
Oh yeah.
Would have been something accidentally happened at no fault, not a murder, because it's a murder.
It's a murder.
A murder.
It's very.
It's so dumb.
Oh, it gets more
man.
Dumb. It's more dumb.
I don't know how.
A lot of my stories piss you off
because you give me stupid shit. Heather. You come in here, you tell me how stupid fucks actually think they plan a murder and then organic apple, like what was that? Organic fucking celery juice, some weird, black market fruit sales. You came at me and talked to me about black market fruit sales.
On which episode? What was that?
I don't even know.
They made up a big scheme about that on one of our earlier
so their
episodes.
big scheme was that they were buying vegetables
on the black market. I forgot. That was you gave me a look like I was the one that said that I do black market fruit sales.
Yes,
you did. And I was like, ma'am, I'm just retelling the tale. I did not come up with that plan.
Because it's stupid.
Because it's dumb. Now, they questioned her for hours and hours, and they talked to witnesses, and obviously it didn't take long for them to piece this puzzle together because there were about 5 pieces.
They literally walked in and the puzzle was complete.
Right? It's like those ones for the 2-year-old that's made out of like 4 pieces.
Right.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, why are you partying all night? Because everybody says that you do that. She's like, oh, I'm just with my cousin, Ethel Anderson. Ethel happened to be married to a cop in the Bronx. Ooh. Ethel had previously talked to Ruth about paying money to flirt with her husband because she wanted him to cheat so she could leave him. So obviously she wasn't happy either. So they quote unquote bonded over that.
That is so spicy.
Like she was like,
I could not even imagine
just paying somebody to flirt with Travis and be like, I want him to cheat on me. Go hit on him. Like that's basically what she did.
Number one, it makes me violent. Right? You just say that.
I thought about it and was
well, like if somebody coming up and being like, hey, do you think you could just like flirt with him? I'd be like, I don't even know how to do that. I'm just gonna wear a low cut shirt and be like, hi. I don't know.
That's all you have to do.
Because that's what guys think, that you're flirting. I just have manners, sir.
Now, Ethel's husband is like, oh, yeah, she's with this Judd Gray guy all the time. So, like, he immediately names him. So they're like, Ruth, did Judd kill your husband? And she's like, oh, yep, he did.
Shut your fucking mouth.
All they did, he wrote down his name. One of the cops wrote his name down when the other cop said it. And then they slid it in front of him and goes, did Judd kill your husband? She's like, yeah, he did. That's what she said. She was quoted saying, yes, he did.
Okay.
So no fight whatsoever.
Wow.
And she even told him, like, you can find him here. Like, she just literally was like, here's his hotel. He's here. Go get him. Like, no, nothing. Now, when Judd got back up to upstate New York, he met with the friend and told him that 2 robbers broke into his girlfriend's house. So he just hid in the closet while the robbers broke in. And he said when it was quiet, he came out and only saw Albert dead. And then he
was just hiding in the closet of his girlfriend's house in the bedroom.
2 robbers came in and he was like, and then hides. And then when he comes out, he sees
Dude,
Albert's dead.
I can't even lie. I read a book where that, like, something like that happened. And the person literally came in because they wanted to confront someone. And then when they went into the closet to, like, hide because they heard people walk in, and the closet door jammed. And it was, like, actually a broken door. And she couldn't get out, and her friend got murdered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, she actually came to talk to someone else, like her husband, the girl's husband. Wow. And she was stuck in the fucking closet, and it was on the stairwell. And then afterwards, she was, right? And she was like, and then she couldn't say anything.
Fuck.
Because she was stuck in there. And then it looked like she did it. And that's some shit. So see, people, you know, hanging out in closets.
Well, anyway, you just busted that theory wide open that it couldn't happen.
Well, she also wasn't, like, hiding in someone's bedroom that... weird.
Oh yeah. So he said, yeah, like they broke in. He came out and he only saw Albert was dead, so he didn't want them to think he did it and put the pieces together. So he went back to his hotel. He laid down in his hotel room. The cops showed up and brought him in for questioning, and he told him that he had left in the whole, like, I hadn't even left this hotel. I've been working here this whole time, selling bras over the phone or whatever. And however, while he was at the station, the hotel maid was cleaning the room, and she found a torn ticket stub in the trash can from his train ride home on Saturday. So, like, they're not trying to hide it very well. The cops didn't tell him that they knew this, though, and they like became friends with him, and they were like, oh, we believe you, trying to play that bullshit. And then they were like, oh, by the way, we have your hotel trash. And he's like, oh, fuck. And he immediately starts saying, Ruth made me do it. This is what happened. Like, he immediately throws her right under that bus, too. So they didn't take very long for them to crack. Judd and Ruth were both arraigned at the same time for Albert's murder and pled not guilty. Now, Ruth had apparently confessed all of it, but her lawyer was like, oh, no, that was by force under duress. So Judd's lawyer was like, oh, yeah, us too. Like, they were put in jail in separate cells to await trial, and the media went bananas. Like, this was like a hot take back in the day.
I'm sure it was.
The headlines were like, the affair of the flapper and the lingerie salesman.
That...
yeah,
is dumb.
They took the little bitty tidbits and ran.
That's like, what was the game we played? Was that Clue? The one that we played?
Yeah.
What was it? Clue? It was a different one, but it's like the maid with a banana clip on the third floor in the computer room.
Yes, that's
what it. The flapper and the lingerie salesman.
Yeah. Yes.
What a bumsy.
And they latched on to the sex angle, of course. And
we always do.
Mm-hmm. The press was like, but the thing about this is that the press was pushing the fact that these were just normal middle class people, quote unquote. Like, they were just, and they did something this bad, and so that normally didn't happen. So people started questioning everybody, and the whole country got hooked on the case just because of that fact. Because they would hear killer, and like everybody still does, and they would think,
not anymore. People don't think that at all anymore. That ship sailed a long time ago.
Right. Apparently.
Ted Bundy ruined that.
Right.
Truly. Ted Bundy was the very first non-murderous looking murderer. The first charismatic, attractive killer.
Well, yeah, that's what they were saying about these people.
That's what.
Yeah.
But they.
Yeah.
They ain't no Ted Bundy. They weren't very attractive.
Right.
Or maybe they were super hot. Sorry. Maybe they were super hot for that time frame. They have very strong jawlines.
Those pictures that I showed you from the press, where they wanted to paint them that way. Like, they looked
more like a murderer in that one versus, like, I'm sure them
just
casually hanging out with the flapper dress and lingerie bags.
Now, the media started bugging the shit out of Judd's wife, because I didn't even think about her perspective, because she didn't know any of this was happening. Then all of a sudden she finds out her husband killed his girlfriend's husband.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? They even called their 10-year-old daughter's school trying to get an interview with the daughter. Like, they were no rules. Ruth's mom had to hold a press conference just to clear, and she was trying to clear her daughter's name. So Ruth, however, loved the interviews, the photos, and all the attention.
Of course.
Yeah. She felt like a movie star, she said, and she leaned into the excitement, and the lawyers were like, will you please shut the fuck up? Please stop. And
is it Jodi Arias?
Yes, that. Yes. They were like, please look sad. You're supposed to be a grieving widow. And she's like, oh, yeah, I didn't do it. He did. So I'm famous. So I don't care. That's basically how she was.
I love that.
even though she was getting attention, it was not good. She was like, she just liked any attention, but it was not good. They called her the dominant woman and smeared her name. They weren't as hateful to Judd, white guy.
Wait, you mean they attacked the woman?
Yes.
Wild.
I know.
That's shameful.
And that's where the dominant woman came in. That's why they took that picture of him where he looks like, I'm meek. Like
he literally looks
like
a fucking douche kiddo.
Yeah, he basically, they said he was led astray by a pretty lady. And Judd even was quoted saying that liquor and evil women is a combination too strong for any man. Liquor and evil women get you every time.
Oh my God.
Yep. Some papers even said that she used abnormal sex practices to get him to kill her husband, which
dude, I want to know exactly what that is.
I know, that's what I said. In the 1920s, it's probably like something other than missionary, or she showed an ankle or two. Like, what?
They were nasty back then.
You think so?
Oh my God. Have you not seen any movie? Like,
no, what's a movie?
No,
what do you mean?
I don't know. I just feel like everyone was like paid sex workers. I mean, yeah, you see, when was the time frame of like Jack the Ripper is pretty much like just bend over the wall and go to Pound Town and there's nothing. But I feel like
I just want to know what abnormal sex practices is. That's all I'm saying.
Stinky Pinky. Stinky Pinky.
Do you think they did that?
100%.
Back then.
Or, I don't know. Dude, at the end of the day, the freaking G-spot is in the butthole for men. I'm pointing with my pen.
I know.
To prove a point. That they've been putting fingers in buttholes forever. Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
This took a weird turn.
Abnormal sex practices. Should give them head and put a finger in the butthole. That is what I'm voting is.
You heard it here first. That's a fun Friday night.
That is the abnormal sex practice. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
You know what?
Assumptions. That liquor and evil women, man.
It's a deadly combination. Now, Ruth said, quote, the murder of my husband is now trying to hide behind my skirts and try to drag me into the stinking pit.
Oh.
Behind her skirts, plural. Judd, of course, found Jesus in jail.
Of course.
He would go to church and cry in the chapel, and everybody's like, oh, he's so meek and holy. Then who's this floozy with her stinky pinkies? Ruth is clinging on to her party monster even in jail, and she refused to be ugly in there, she said. She give herself manicures with matchsticks, and somehow they approved for her to have a curling iron, which I don't, what is that? They just put out.
How do you have matchsticks?
I don't know, loosey-goosey. She getting mani-pedis in county jail. The trial began on April 18th, 1927, and the courthouse, of course, was a media circus, and there were thousands and thousands of people. A famous director even showed up to get notes for a movie he wanted to do. He got out a fucking limo. They had Broadway stars in there and everyone. And obviously the jury selection, because literally everybody knew about this all over the country.
I don't know why I'm so shocked that this is like such a scandal.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know. I say that and then Jodi Arias, but that was like actually brutal. And I just feel like the brutality of things, but we also don't know, like he was beat to death. There's nothing more brutal than that.
Yeah. And this wasn't like back then, not by quote unquote normal middle class people.
You're
it was
right,
like
but I also
stuff.
I just feel like it was way worse back then. Like you would get your hand cut off for stealing a piece of bread. Like we hung people.
Yeah.
Like we've done as a society, we've been pretty much fucking utterly terrible in every capacity, and we're only getting a little bit better here and there. But like when you watch anything old or read any books about any time before the 1900s, we were pretty much killing anyone for anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm like shocked that this was like that.
The big thing. I think it was all the aspects of everything. They both were cheating. The lingerie, the abnormal sex practices, her flapper.
Vagina.
She was a modern woman, quote unquote, for that era. So she wasn't domestic. She wanted to go out and dance and have fun, and that was unheard of. That unheard woman.
You're right.
So that's why they hung on to everything. Now jury selection, like I said, was really hard because everybody knew about this all over the country. So they had to keep like dismissing people because they were already knew about everything the media
All the
had
news
said.
on the TV.
Yeah, all the newspapers. Yeah.
Right.
And Ruth was like, she'd even told reporters that she was bored, and she was like, why do I have to sit here? Why do I have to sit here during all this? This is boring. Like, I'm bored. I need excitement.
You're on trial for murder.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm bored.
She literally was like,
She has some psychological issues that we didn't know then.
yeah. And the press was like, oh, this is her fault. We didn't do it. It's her fault that the jury's taken so long. Not that the fact that they fucking ran the story and ran it all over the ground. They were like, nope, it's her fault.
That was her job.
Yeah.
It's the news.
They said that she just wants to use her sexuality to get an all-male jury. And then Ruth's like, the law says you have to be male to be on the jury for one. She basically calls them out and is like, you fucking idiots. They all had to be dudes. So she was right about that. They're like, she's just going to use her sexuality to try to get a lighter sentence. And she's like,
You can't. Women don't even have the right to be for our opinion to matter. Our opinion doesn't matter. So thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, she literally was like, you're cute, but they all had to be guys. So what? Shut up. When the trial started, Ruth and Judd took the stand and they stuck to their stories. They both blamed the other one, claiming to be the victim. And the other one, they both said, oh, it was her fault. It was his fault. And on Monday, May 9th, the trial ended. The jury deliberated for 90 minutes and found Ruth Snyder and Judd Gray both guilty of first-degree murder. Now, the sentence of this by New York law was death by electric chair.
I bet that thing was not well greased.
I know. I would say no.
Ruth, what's the last name?
Snyder.
Yeah.
And Judd didn't react at all whenever the judge was like, you're going to die by electric chair. He didn't react one bit. And Ruth broke down crying and collapsed. She bounced back pretty quick, though, on the way back to prison. When she was being transported from prison to jail, she asked the cops if she could stop for a lobster dinner at her favorite restaurant. They said no.
I also wouldn't have been shocked if you were like, yep, they said yes. Pulled her up at Red Lobster.
Me either, yeah. Give her them cheddar bays and put her in the chair. Like,
right?
Yeah. And reporters, when they were putting her in the car, they swarmed her, and she made sure she made a statement to say that she wanted to convert to Catholicism, but they think that she was trying to get pardoned by the governor, who was a prevalent Catholic.
She seems kind of smart.
I mean, yeah. On January 12th, 1928, 10 months after Albert's murder, 40 spectators gathered to watch Judd and Ruth's execution. Ruth was brought in first, and she was like red-faced because she had obviously been crying, and she was just repeating, have mercy, God have mercy on my soul, Jesus have mercy for me, for I have sinned, over and over and over, while she was walked in. Now, one of the spectators was Tom Howard, who was a photographer working with the New York Daily News. The spectators weren't supposed to bring cameras in, but Tom ignored them.
He is a rule breaker.
He had a custom-made one-shot camera strapped to his ankle. And guess what he did when they flipped the switch?
Oh, my God. Show me the photo.
Took this photo. That not only did he take the photo, he ran this. They ran this on the front page of the New York Daily News the very next day. And it looked like this. Oh, my gosh. And the headline said dead. And it had her in an getting electrocuted.
They made her wear a fucking skirt?
On the front. I hate that made me laugh, but I mean, I never noticed that. Yeah. But she's in jail, and what women had to.
Yeah. Sorry.
But so he had that strapped to his ankle, took the photo. They had a woman getting electrocuted on the front of the fucking newspaper.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Why were they bamboozled by a murder?
Yeah. And the newspaper's circulation normally in one day was about 1 million, and it went to 1.5 million newspapers, which is the largest sale of any single newspaper on a single day still to this day in American history.
Will be forever.
Yes, because they're not going to ever know.
Yeah.
Judd was executed after this, and he was
that's not fair. That's not okay.
No, it made me feel weird even seeing the photo, and it's a million years
But we say
later.
that, and then we literally had a whole conversation on if you'd go be there to see someone die that murdered someone you love.
Well, that would be, but I was at least connected to that. And this one,
I just think it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's just inappropriate. But then again, we also show crime scene photos. I don't know. Yeah. I'm always torn by what we do.
But the thing about this one is even say
you weren't allowed to take the photo.
Yes. Say I wasn't say I was walking past a newsstand and then I didn't ask to see that. And
I'm
I
a child.
over and I'm like, So,
We will sadly make sure that that's included in the post. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we'll put like a.
There's
here
not
it
a
comes.
there's no need for that. You guys, it is a girl sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's blurry.
It's blurry because it was in movement.
Yeah.
So like it's not offensive.
It was
in the
1926.
sense that it wasn't someone's blown off face.
I mean,
and that's what we have to say in 2024. A face, we are desensitized as a human race.
Yeah.
So for us, we'd see that and be like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's just shocking that the photo was taken.
Yeah.
At
I
all.
mean, almost.
And then on the front page of the newspaper saying dead exclamation mark.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That part was, and the fact that it was from night, I mean, it's pretty
It's shocking.
It's a pretty clear photo considering it was almost 100 years ago. It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
From a custom one-shot ankle camera.
From a Kodak.
Yeah. Like, how does that even happen? Judd was executed right after her and was quoting scripture on the way to the chair. Now, a stage play starring the unknown Clark Gable was made from this story. There was a book that was turned into a movie, and they churched up the story, of course, making Ruth the ultimate man-eater, basically. So at the end, she was like, I never loved you, and then gets shot. So, yeah. Also... 1 week before they were supposed to get electrocuted, Ruth wrote a goodbye letter to Judd, and Judd apparently responded. So even though they were trying to pin it on each other, they apparently loved each other until the very end.
I don't know that's love. She could have just wrote a letter.
The way that his response, he was like,
but if she really loved him, she literally, I don't even know if these motherfuckers know what love is.
right, crazy. That is the story of ruthless Ruth Snyder, the dominant woman, Judd Gray, and the murder of Edward Snyder.
Man.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that one, man.
I don't either. I was kind of all over the place about it.
And you said it. You said I'd feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I mean. Like they murdered.
Yeah,
they murdered someone stupidly for no reason.
Yep.
That the dumbest shit in the world is to murder somebody for money.
And then be like, the Italians did it because every robber brings a newspaper
It's the
when
same
they go
thing.
to
Every
rob a
white
house.
girl's like, it was a tall black guy. Like, same shit.
But the fact that she was like, but he left a newspaper. Like, what robber brings a newspaper? What?
Right.
They're like, hang on, wait, I gotta read the classifieds, then I'll go steal the necklace. No,
Right?
no,
dumb.
dumb,
Very
Anyway,
dumb.
Yes. Well, anyway,
Thanks for that stupid story. Thanks for that.
Thanks for that.
Can't undo that. And now all I want to know is what weird lascivious sex acts were being done.
Yeah, all of a sudden you have all kinds of curtains because you want window sash weights in your house because now you know everything about them.
Everything.
Literally,
I Googled, they're on eBay for $50 from a house. They were taken from a house in 1950s.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't want my sashes just fucking blowing in the breeze.
They need to be weighted down.
Always. You guys, seriously, don't forget. Just don't get mad.
Get sassy.
We love you.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, A Couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I bet that